If you're carrying too much weight, then you have to wait. In other words, if you are choosing heavy, dense energy, then you're gonna feel like you're stuck because it takes so long for things to move through that dense, heavy energy. It's like wearing iron boots and you're just trotting along. It takes a long time to get where you're going. You're carrying too much weight, so you have to wait. And this is why a lot of people tend to feel like they're stuck. You're not actually stuck. You're just moving very slowly because you're too heavy. Now, how do we shed this weight? How do we become lighter so we can experience the light? Well, I want to go over a few ways today, practical ways that you can actually shed weight and experience what you want to experience faster. Because a lot of us, we don't understand that we're carrying density. We don't understand that we're moving through such a dense energy, trying to manifest things, trying to experience new things in our life, trying to get on new levels that are of a higher frequency. So the first thing is just choosing a higher frequency. Now this might sound like too simple, but it is. Choose what you're experiencing. Okay, a lot of people, they get caught up in the negative of the mind. They get caught up in the harshness that the world can sometimes show us. And then they start looking at their life like, it's woe is me. This and that is happening and it's bad and it's heavy. Nothing good happens. And when you think like that, you get heavier. You're choosing more energy that is repelling the things that you want. Now, one thing people need to understand is that we are on a spiral, either going up or going down. So where you are right now, even if it's not a good place that you are right now, you can go lower. That's something to become aware of, that it's like if things are bad and you're focusing on the bad, you can make things worse. You can spiral down. And just like the frog in the boiling water, where if the temperature of the water gradually rises, the frog doesn't even notice that it's being boiled. This can happen too, to you. Going down, if you're going to keep choosing to be negative and choosing to see the world, refuse to see the world in the light that you could. Now, this also works the opposite direction. It just takes consciousness, it takes awareness to actually make the steps and make the changes to actually go higher. Because when you're feeling negative, when things are hard, it can be very hard. It takes strength to actually choose to be positive and actually choose to be a lighter frequency and to lighten up and to go higher. Because you have to decide when that negativity comes that you're like, I'm not gonna embody this. I'm not gonna embrace this. I'm gonna choose to think higher thoughts. I'm gonna choose to feel better. Because your experience, all in all, is a culmination of how you're feeling and how you're thinking. If you feel good about life, life is good. It doesn't matter what's going on around you. And when you feel good about life and you feel good about things, more good things are gonna come to you, right? Like is gonna attract like, the same way that it is when you're feeling negative, when you're feeling dense. Now, if you wanna work through these dense frequencies, like I said, you can think your way, feel your way into a higher state and begin a cycle of moving upwards where it becomes much more natural for you to actually think positively and feel positively. But also there's another way to release the weight, to shed the weight, to become lighter. And that's to actually work with the physical body. Now, the physical body is the most dense form of us, right? This is the physical, the tangible, but the body can hold and trap energies that work their way up. So the body is like the foundation because it's the most dense frequency. It's at the base of it. It is the root. So if you can clear out the root, if you can heal the root, then you can actually clear out what's happening in the mind sometimes without having to work with the mind. And this is why, so here's a couple of methods, because this is so interesting. The word exercise, right? It's the same as the word exorcism. That's because when you exercise, you are exercising, you are ridding yourself of your demons, of your dense energies. That's because when we exercise, we call it working out, right? If we have dense energies that are within our body, a lot of people that like to go and work out, it's always like an energy comes up. Not always, not with everybody, but if you're ever feeling like stressed out or angry or whatever it might be, it's like, go for a run, go lift some weights, go do something like that. Exercise that energy, get it out of you, burn that energy off, and then you'll just be feeling better just because you worked it out. If you were to think of the body like a really dense thought form, the same way that if you had a negative thought in your mind and you transmuted that thought, if you alchemized that thought to be like, maybe I'm gonna actually feel positive about this, and however that way goes, the body being stagnant is the same as like a negative thought in your mind. So when you move the body and you get this stagnant energy flowing, the body becomes a negative, goes from being a negative to a positive because you exercised it. And then you get all these hormones that go through your brain and your body that are just feel good chemicals. When you're feeling good physically, it's a lot easier to feel good mentally and energetically. So there's several ways to work with the body to work things out. Like I said, exercising is one, stretching is another, because the body can build up tension based on things that the mind goes through. So if the mind is feeling stressed, if the mind is creating a pattern of stress, that can be stored in the body and it can create tension somewhere in the body. So when we stretch and we actually release this tension, we're freeing up that energy to vibrate higher. We're freeing it up from being trapped in density so it can float higher, so we're no longer carrying that dense frequency with us. Now, when it comes to releasing densities in the body, we have to think about what we're feeding the body as well, the fuel that we're consuming. Now, I'm not going to say what sort of diet you should eat, but what I am going to say is avoid chemicals. Avoid chemicals, avoid sugars. You don't want eat more natural food. The more fake chemical crap you put in your body, the more blockages you're going to have, the more dense your body is going to feel. So avoid putting nonsense into your body. Read the ingredients if you're going to go to the grocery store and pick something up. Pay attention to what's what. It would be beneficial to educate yourself, to actually learn about, what's healthy for the body and what's not. Because a lot of what's in food nowadays, unfortunately, is really fake nonsense meant to cut expenses for corporations, which, it's a sad thing. It's a sad point of affairs, but a lot of people, they just live on a chemical food diet, the McHealth plan, I call it. So we want to avoid fake foods. We want to eat naturally. We want to eat things that are going to fuel us and give us better strength, better health, right? Eat to live, don't live to eat, okay? Now, the next thing I want to talk about is the breath. The breath brings us back to our core. The breath, that is the most direct interaction we can have with the system that is our body. And most people are caught up in a pattern of just shallow breathing throughout the day. They're breathing from their upper chest and it's shallow. They're not thinking about it. They're not taking deep conscious breaths all the way from your stomach and up. You want to breathe from deep. Let it go. Take deep breaths. You don't have to do this all day, but throughout the day, if you take time to take a deep conscious breath, you're bringing yourself back to the basic nature of being, the basic waveform, the up and the down, the in and the out. Whenever you're feeling like your mind is stressed out, your body is stressed out, things are feeling complicated, take a deep breath. Take several deep breaths. If you put a pattern, if you put a practice of taking deep conscious breaths into your day, or say you go outside and maybe you take 30 conscious breaths, whatever it is to you, there's lots of different ways to do breathing exercises. You can find them all over the place. But if you found a breathing practice that you really liked, and then you practice that regularly, that's gonna give you a baseline of how you can feel physically. That's gonna affect your mind positively. That's gonna affect your emotions positively, because when we breathe, we're moving the energy. We're moving the energy in and out. It's good for all of you. Breathing is so powerful. It helps to detox. It helps to oxygenate your body and your cells. Breathing is so powerful. So the last physical thing I want to get to, or actually two more. One is detoxing the body. And how to detox the body. Like I said, eating clean is a big part of it, but fasting is something that is super useful, because fasting can break mental patterns as well as physical patterns. Because a lot of us, even if we're eating healthy, if we've never fasted before, we can be in a pattern of addiction with food, where I'm not saying food is a bad thing, okay? But I'm saying that sometimes we eat not because we're hungry, but because we're feeling a certain emotion. And that certain emotion is a density held within our body that is keeping our frequency tethered. And when that frequency comes up, instead of dealing with it, instead of letting it go, we might go eat something. We might go have a snack. And that is just gonna cover up that frequency. It's gonna continue the pattern of that. So fasting, when we take time to not eat, to only consume maybe water or herbs, something that doesn't add calories to our system, we give our body a chance to naturally detox itself. See, the body is so powerful. It knows how to heal itself. We just have to give it the space to. So when we're eating all the time, the body actually has to use energy to digest and process the food. So when the body is digesting and processing food, it doesn't have that energy to go and actually process other things in the body. So when you surpass 16 hours without adding any calories to the body, what happens is your body goes into a phase called autophagy. And within this phase, that energy that was used for digesting, because it's not needed, it goes to digest remnants within the body. Toxins, undigested food, blockages, dysfunctional cells. It begins to clear all of this out using this extra energy that is not needed, because it's not needing to digest anything, because there's nothing to digest. So this is so powerful, even to healing physical parts of the body, to actually releasing mental patterns and energies. Because fasting, this is what, like I said earlier, if you're heavy, you're too heavy. You're carrying all this weight, so you have to wait. We want to be lighter. We want to experience things faster. If you want to go faster, to be on a higher frequency, then you fast. And it's like all these words have a meaning. So fasting is a super powerful way to actually reset your body and mind, to clear out toxins and to lighten up your load. Do your own research on it. What I'd recommend, if you've never done it before, is you're gonna go to bed and then wake up. And that morning that you wake up, you don't eat anything for that period of that day. So, and then you go to bed that night having not eaten anything, and because of the sleep, you're actually just fasted for 36 hours. It makes it a lot easier to like go from 24 hours to 36 hours. Because I honestly think it's harder to wake up and eat a breakfast or something and then say, okay, I'm not going to eat anything the rest of the day. Because if you just start the day and you don't eat anything, like you don't get the process going, you're already 12 hours into a fast. So you're going to feel hungry. Your body is going to probably, I'll probably do another video on I think I have done another video, but I'll probably do another one on fasting and like the details of it. But just know that to mentally overcome what your body's going to tell you, like, oh, I need to eat, which is not actually true. Your body's going to process a lot of stuff that needed to be processed. It's going to release a lot of weight, release a lot of density by going through that process. It's going to be probably hard the first time, but once you've done it and you kind of know what to expect, it becomes a much easier process. And I mean, doing that a couple times throughout the year, doing some sort of cleanse, detox, fast like that is so beneficial to you. You can just clear out things, you can heal stuff that might be pent up, and definitely something I'd recommend, something I practice. The last thing, this is another one people might not like, is cold exposure. Using the cold. So the cold is such a powerful element. And most of us really shy away from the cold. We don't like the cold. And that's natural because it's super uncomfortable. But the thing about being in the cold, and I'm talking about like cold water exposure mainly. You can walk out on a super cold day and just, you know, embrace it. Something about cold water really is a potent form of alchemy with your body and your mind. Now, you could go jump in a frozen river like this, but I recommend to take a cold shower. Because when you get into the cold, what's going to happen is your body is going to react to the really high amount of stimulus that comes from the cold, right? It's painful, it's uncomfortable at first. And that means it's going to bring you right back to the now moment. You're going to forget about what's going on during your day. You're going to forget about what you're stressed about. The only thing you're going to be thinking about is that cold sensation. That's the point. It brings you back into the now, just like the breath. Breathing while you're in the cold too is so powerful. Combining the two is fantastic. But being in the cold resets your body. It gives your body this signal to, okay, we're in super cold, so we're going to bring everything inward. So what happens is it flushes your lymphatic system because all of the blood moves internally. And then all of the muscles that are on the exterior, even some of the deeper tissues, they're going to become less inflamed because the cold is literally icing them. It's working out this inflammation in the tissue and the joints all throughout the body. So it's going to reduce your inflammation. It's going to increase the oxidation that those muscles actually get, or oxygenation. Sorry, different terms. And then you're going to clear out your lymphatic system. So the cold is going to help you detox. The cold is going to help you reduce inflammation, and the cold is going to help you reoxygenate cells in your body. And then when you get out of the cold and you start warming your body back up, you get a flush of serotonin that is far more than anything you get from any other external stimulus, that makes you feel like so relaxed, so just, I'm feeling fantastic right now, which can totally reset you if you're ever having a bad day. If you're ever feeling like down or negative or just off or something like that, and you go get in the cold, number one, as soon as you're in the cold, you're going to forget about it. And then when you get out of the cold, you're going to feel good. You're going to feel great. It's such an amazing life hack, but it takes discipline. It takes strength. It takes willpower to do it, because, you know, it's hard. If anything, the things that are genuinely worth it in life tend to not be easy. But I swear, none of these things that I've said today are things that I don't practice. So I'm talking from experience. I'm talking from things that I have learned that have really helped me and had a profound effect on my journey. And the point of this video today is not for me to say, okay, copy me, like do exactly what I'm doing. Take what you need and discard the rest. You know, but have an open enough mind to try some of these things if you're feeling like you're stuck, right? Give it a try, because there are ways to get out of it. You just need to lighten up the load. You need to release the density. So like I said, there's many ways to release the weight. We can use our mind, we can focus our energies and our emotions, or we can clear it out through the body. If ever you're having an issue or something that you're stuck on, it's up to you to decide what's the best way to go about that. Can I clear this with the mind and the energy, or should I work with the physical body? Because we have these different points of access to these different densities that we experience in order to clear energy, in order to lighten up our load, so we can manifest what we want faster, so we can feel better and have a better life experience in general. Because that's the point. It's not to get to where we're going. It's to enjoy the now moment. Because when we're feeling good in the now moment, we're already on the fast track to getting where we're going. All right, everybody. I hope that helps. Thanks for watching. Much love, everybody. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Peace.